Let's go now for why do we need Snmp. If you happen to be managing a new network, or if your network has grown so large that you no longer know what is attached to it, you can run a device discovery software that can look for ports 171 and 172 in order to discover devices. Snmp is good at telemetry. Telemetry means gathering remote devices information. For instance, we can gather remote devices health information, such as how much CPU and memory the remote devices are using, at what temperature they are running at, how much power they are receiving. We can also receive interface statistics such as the throughput, error, and packet drop rate, among many other types of statistics. Just a note here about how Snmp gathers telemetry data. Snmp is based on pooling. That means that the network management system is going to ask each device within the network sequentially for information. That means also that each device is going to have to wait for a certain interval before it gets asked again for information. This interval for most network management systems out there is usually 5 minutes. That means that if you chart Snmp data, you will see that the points within the chart are separated by a gap of 5 minutes most of the time. If we compare this with other technologies, for instance NetFlow, with NetFlow devices are going to push data into the network management system. If you chart NetFlow data, you will see that the chart is smoother, and that is because the interval that NetFlow uses is lower. Now, by this I'm not saying that NetFlow is better than Snmp, or that NetFlow is going to replace Snmp. This is just to illustrate how Snmp works. Snmp can do alerts as well. If we configure a device properly, it is going to detect when a certain event happens, and then it is going to push an alert to the network management system. We have two types of alerts within Snmp. We have traps. Traps are best effort based. That means that the remote device that created the alert is just going to send the alert, and it is not going to care whether the alert arrives or not. The other type of alert that we have are informs. Informs are going to get stored in this device memory, because this device must track these informs over time. It is going to try to send these informs over and over until it receives an acknowledge back from the network management system. And the reason we need these alerts is because we can configure the network management system to execute one or several actions upon receiving alerts. We can, for instance, create a ticket so we can follow up and figure out why this event happened in the first place. We can send email to network administrators and so on. Probably the most important alert that we must configure on our devices is the dying gasp. The dying gasp is sent by devices when they sense that they are going to experience a power outage. Devices store a little bit of energy that is enough to send this dying gasp alert just before they are about to be turned off. Now, when it comes to configuration management, yes, we can do that with Snmp, but however, it is a little bit hard to do so. By configuration management, we mean backing up, for instance, the configuration of all your devices automatically, or pushing new configuration to all your devices massively. In these cases, it is probably better to use more recent technologies such as netconf and resconf. And finally, another reason to use Snmp is that because most legacy or old devices will only support Snmp, and most probably they will not support more recent technologies such as netconf and resconf. This is a summary of what we saw in this session. Why do we need Snmp? We can perform device discovery by scanning devices looking for ports 171 or 172. We can perform telemetry. We can gather information from remote devices, for instance, to get device health. We can get the CPU, memory, temperature, for instance, from remote devices. We can gather stats. Remember that all of this works by polling. For instance, we can gather bandwidth, throughput, errors, and packet drops per interface. We can receive alerts. Remember that we can have two types of alerts with Snmp. We have drops and informs. Some of the most important alerts that we are looking for instance, is the dying gasp alert. And Snmp can do configuration management. However, it is not really easy to do, so we have other tools in order to do configuration management, such as ResConf and NetConf. And we always are going to use Snmp for legacy devices.